Hedonism is a philosophy where people tend to value pleasure above all else within the human experience. While hedonism is an ideal stance, I do believe there has to be a balance. Everything cannot be pleasure because if it is, it will ultimately destroy humanity, I think. Mainly because it is of base desire. It forgets rules of civilization, standards, principles, and rules we have created to keep the world in a state of equilibrium. When one becomes purely hedonistic, it can come at the expense of others. Often it also causes us to put off the important things we need to do to improve ourselves and the world around us. There are two main branches of hedonism. There is ethical and psychological hedonism. Ethical states that people should seek pleasure, and it is the ultimate good, and that every intent of man should be to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. While I understand the thought process, it sounds like a pipe dream to me. Also, as I previously stated, it can lead to decay within a person and his surroundings if he does not do the hard things life requires of him. One of the most fundamental truths I know is that what is hard now is usually good in the long term, and what is easy now is usually bad for us in the long term. Psychological hedonism, on the other hand, points to humanity's natural state, I believe. That people are naturally driven by the desire for pleasure, and all humanity's actions are for pleasure. To me, this is very apparent. Even with my statement about what is hard now will be better for you down the road. At the end of the day, the goal is still to obtain pleasure. That is just taking into consideration the hard work it takes to get to higher forms of pleasure. You can enjoy more meaningful pleasure because the hard work it took to get there, and also higher forms of pleasure because you have traded time and energy for the ability to have better things and experiences. There are two broader categories of hedonism. There is quantitative hedonism that focuses on maximizing one's pleasure, regardless of quality or source. Drugs would be a good example of this. They are terrible for your health, but the feeling is apparently unmatched. Then there is qualitative hedonism, which prioritizes higher quality pleasure. But it emphasizes the importance of finding pleasure through means that are more meaningful and fulfilling. Think of quality over quantity. Quantity is of ego. It's greed. If I have so many things, it fills a void. While qualitative hedonism is more about purpose, hard work, discipline, and the long goal. Delayed gratification. Right now I have two choices. I could eat this ice cream and I could sit on my couch and watch something that is super enjoyable. This could be a wonderful experience, but it contributes to decay. This is the type of activity we should do on occasion, but if we did it every day, we would harm ourselves in the long term. Think of YOLO, you only live once. It is a mindset that personifies quantitative hedonism. Do what you want because tomorrow is not promised. While qualitative hedonism thinks about, well, if I do live tomorrow, I should do the best thing now for my future. Here is a quote from Epicurus. The philosopher hedonism is most associated with
pleasure is the first good. It is the beginning of every choice and every aversion. It is the absence of pain in the body and of troubles in the soul.
Aristippus is a philosopher of the 4th century BC. He is the founder of hedonistic thought. He did not believe that people should suffer now for a greater tomorrow. Financially, to an extent, I do agree. If we lived in a utopia where everyone got paid to buy whatever they want, then this would not be an issue. Here in America, however, we have capitalism. If you want to enjoy the most abundant life, you will have to make the most sacrifice. To me, this is duty. In the way I think, it is important to build yourself up and suffer in the now, so one day I will be able to get whatever I desire from life. We should be grateful for what we do have, of course, but if we desire more for ourselves, the most comfortable life, with the greatest views, the things of quality, and the financial means to go where we wish and do as we please, then now we must suffer. If you focus now on the pleasures you can obtain, then you could lead your life to ruin. We only have so many resources at our disposal. To get more resources, we must work. This is not always ideal, fun, or pleasurable. Sometimes it means doing things we really do not like to do so that one day we will not have to. I also believe we must seek to find work we love so that obtaining true freedom is not a chore. This is the core of the philosophy Ikigai, which I will cover in a later video. Epicurus was much more rational about hedonism in my perspective. He viewed pleasure as more of a state of mind. He was more on the qualitative side of hedonism, while Aristippus was more quantitative. Epicurus believed the pleasure was in the end result. Once you have achieved the pleasure, the satisfaction of knowing you did it. This is a better way of looking at pleasure and fulfilling desire. enjoying the process and the result more than the pleasure or the thing that gives you pleasure instead. This causes fulfillment and highlights the importance of purpose. Aristippus had a more ego-driven and short-sighted outlook on pleasure and the purpose of life in my perspective. Here are some quotes from him that personify his philosophy.
The art of life lies in taking pleasures as they pass, and the keenest pleasures are not intellectual, nor are they always moral. It is not abstinence from pleasures that is best, but mastery over them without being worsted.
I think the key to life is a balance. Most things in life are improved with a balance. Humans tend to get bored with things easy. We should make room for both our pleasures, and also be able to do things that are tougher or harder to do if the end result will be better for us, our family, and the world around us. We should have few vices, yet a few are okay if they are meaningful to us or give us pleasure. Ultimately, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So it is important to enjoy things throughout the day, not just endlessly work. The trap to me is the modern life of our society. We work at jobs we do not like. A lot of us to get a paycheck that won't contribute to our growth. Instead, we barely keep afloat. If someone's okay with this lifestyle, then more power to them. However, I feel most are actually just complacent because they do not want to put in the hard work. They would rather take the easy route and distract themselves from their real problems. This is my main issue with hedonism in our society. There does not seem to be a balance at all. We spend 40 hours a week working at jobs we don't like, and then spend the rest of time doing things that are bad for us, but we enjoy without a thought on the long-term consequences. People mostly eat unhealthy. Obesity is rising in the West. People are constantly drinking, smoking weed, and partying to escape their problems. So many people just sleep around without thinking of the consequences, so we have broken homes. The nuclear family is dying. Fatherless homes have now led to a decrease in pair bonding. There's a dramatic increase as incels. Women have become more masculine because they have to, because men have turned to video games and pornography, and they have no idea how to be a man because no one taught them. Women have turned to sex work like OnlyFans for quick cash to capitalize on incels. All of these things are the effects of hedonistic thought partly. Everyone is trying to find pleasure and life and instant gratification because it is easy. I believe we are not only ruining ourselves with this line of thought, but we are also ruining society as a whole. We must learn to balance ourselves better. We have to realize that great things come with patience and hard work. True peace and tranquility come from fulfilling our purpose and contributing to things in a good manner. To me, being content is all about living in purpose, doing the right thing, having pride in our achievements. This is the most meaningful pleasure. We should distract ourselves less and be more present. We should realize nothing meaningful comes easy. We must learn to be less hedonistic and impulsive and be more rational and ambitious. If not for us, then for the people we love, who do not want to see us suffer, or worse dead. A path of logic, hard work, moderation, intent, virtue, and morality is never easy. But it will keep society functioning, give us longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. It will keep the foundation of society sturdy and make sure our descendants live on for many more generations to come. The path we are on right now will destroy our livelihoods and lead to the deterioration of us, our society, and the earth we live on. The choice is ours.